raft. Does a man who has safely crossed a flood upon a raft continue his journey carrying that raft upon his head? The Buddha teaching must be relinquished. How much more so misteaching? Section 7. Great ones perfect beyond learning, utter no words of teaching. Subhuti, what do you think? Has the Tathágata attained the consummation of incomparable enlightenment? Has the Tathágata a teaching to enunciate? Subhuti answered, as I understand Buddha's meaning, there is no formulation of truth called consummation of incomparable enlightenment. Moreover, the Tathágata has no formulated teaching to enunciate. Wherefore? Because the Tathágata has said that truth is uncontainable and inexpressible. It neither is nor is it not. Thus it is that this unformulated principle is the foundation of the different systems of all the sages. Section 8. The fruits of meritorious action. Subhuti, what do you think? If anyone filled 3,000 galaxies of worlds with the 7 treasures and gave all away in gifts of alms, would he gain great merit? Subhuti said, great indeed, a world-honored one. Wherefore? Because merit partakes of the character of no merit, the Tathágata characterized the merit as great. Then Buddha said, on the other hand, if anyone received and retained even only 4 lines of this discourse and taught and explained them to others, his merit would be the greater. Wherefore? Because, Subhuti, from this discourse issue forth all the Buddhas and the consummation of incomparable enlightenment teachings of all the Buddhas. Subhuti, what is called the religion given by Buddha, is not, in fact, Buddha religion. Section 9. Real designation is undesignate. Subhuti, what do you think? Does a disciple who has entered the stream of the holy life say within himself, I obtain the fruit of a stream entrant? Subhuti said, no, a world-honored one. Wherefore? Because stream entrant is merely a name. There is no stream entering. The disciple who pays no regard to form, sound, odor, taste, touch, or any quality, is called a stream entrant. Subhuti, what do you think? Does an adept who is subject to only one more rebirth say within himself, I obtain the fruit of a wants to be reborn? Subhuti said, no, a world-honored one. Wherefore? Because wants to be reborn is merely a name. There is no passing away nor coming into existence. The adept who realizes this is called wants to be reborn. Single quote. Subhuti, what do you think? Does a venerable one who will never more be reborn as a mortal say within himself, I obtain the fruit of a non-returner? Subhuti said, no, a world-honored one. Wherefore? Because non-returner is merely a name. There is no non-returning. Hence the designation, non-returner. Single quote. Subhuti, what do you think? Does a holy one say within himself, I have obtained perfective enlightenment? Subhuti said, no, a world-honored one. Wherefore? Because there is no such condition as that called perfective enlightenment. World-honored one, if a holy one of perfective enlightenment said to himself, such am I, he would necessarily partake of the idea of an ego entity, a personality, a being, or a separated individuality. World-honored one, when the Buddha declares that I excel amongst holy men in the yoga of perfect quiescence, indwelling in seclusion, and in freedom from passions, I do not say within myself, I am a holy one of perfective enlightenment, free from passions. World-honored one, if I said within myself, such am I, you would not declare. Subhuti finds happiness abiding in peace, in seclusion in the midst of the forest. This is because Subhuti abides nowhere. Therefore he is called Subhuti, joyful abidder in peace, dweller in seclusion in the forest. Single quote. Section 10. Setting forth Pure Lands. Buddha said, Subhuti, what do you think? In the remote past when a Tathágata was with Dipankara Buddha, did he have any degree of attainment in the good law? No, a world-honored one. When the Tathágata was with Dipankara Buddha, he had no degree of attainment in the good law. Subhuti, what do you think? Does a bodhisattva set forth any majestic Buddha lands? No, a world-honored one. Wherefore? Because setting forth majestic Buddha lands is not a majestic setting forth. This is merely a name. Then Buddha continued. Therefore, Subhuti, all bodhisattvas, lesser and great, should develop a pure, lucid mind, not depending upon sound, flavor, touch, odor, or any quality. A bodhisattva should develop a mind which alights upon no thing whatsoever. And so should he establish it. Subhuti, this may be likened to a human frame as large as the mighty Mount Sumeru. What do you think? Would such a body be great? Subhuti replied, great indeed, a world-honored one. This is because Buddha has explained that no body is called a great body. Section 11. The superiority of unformulated truth. Subhuti, if there were as many Ganges rivers as the sand grains of the Ganges, would the sand grains of them all be many? Subhuti said, many indeed, a world-honored one. Even the Ganges rivers would be innumerable. How much more so would be their sand grains? Subhuti, I will declare a truth to you. If a good man or good woman filled 3,000 galaxies of worlds with the 7 treasures for each sand grain in all those Ganges rivers, and gave all away in gifts of alms, would he gain great merit? Subhuti answered, great indeed, a world-honored one. Then Buddha declared, nevertheless, Subhuti, if a good man or good woman studies this discourse only so far as to receive and retain 4 lines, and teaches and explains them to others, the consequent merit would be far greater. Section 12. Veneration of the true doctrine. Furthermore, Subhuti, you should know that wheresoever this discourse is proclaimed, by even so little as 4 lines, that place should be venerated by the whole realms of gods, men and titans as though it were Buddha's shrine. How much more is this so in the case of one who is able to receive and retain the whole and read and recite it throughout? Subhuti, you should know that such a one attains the highest and most wonderful truth. Wheresoever this sacred discourse may be found, there should you comport yourself as though in the presence of Buddha and disciples worthy of honor. Section 13. How this teaching should be received and retained. At that time Subhuti addressed Buddha, saying, world-honored one, by what name should this discourse be known, and how should we receive and retain it? Buddha answered, Subhuti, this discourse should be known as the diamond of the perfection of transcendental wisdom, thus should you receive and retain it. Subhuti, what is the reason herein? According to the Buddha teaching, the perfection of transcendental wisdom is not really such. Perfection of transcendental wisdom is just the name given to it. Subhuti, what do you think? Has the Tathágata a teaching to enunciate? Subhuti replied to the Buddha, world-honored one, the Tathágata has nothing to teach. Subhuti, what do you think? Would there be many molecules in the composition of 3,000 galaxies of worlds? Subhuti said, many indeed, a world-honored one. Subhuti, the Tathágata declares that all these molecules are not really such. They are called molecules. Furthermore, the Tathágata declares that a world is not really a world. It is called a world. Subhuti, what do you think? May the Tathágata be perceived by the 32 physical peculiarities of an outstanding sage? No, a world-honored one, the Tathágata may not be perceived by these 32 marks. Wherefore? Because the Tathágata has explained that the 32 marks are not really such. They are called the 32 marks. Subhuti, if on the one hand a good man or a good woman sacrifices as many lives as the sand grains of the Ganges, and on the other hand anyone receives and retains even only 4 lines,